My two brothers and I have always been inseparable since childhood. There's John, the eldest, Steve, the youngest, and me, Lucy, the only girl in the family. Now, in our 30s, I'm confident that our sibling bond is stronger than most. Our closeness stemmed from our parents' busy schedules. Both worked tirelessly, leaving us to rely on each other. None of us were angels. We each had our fair share of mischief. Our mother became a frequent visitor to our school, reprimanding us as needed. John, though, was notorious in our hometown for his rebellious streak. Academics were far from his priority. He preferred mischief and adventures over textbooks. Steve and I took a different path. Perhaps learning from John's escapades, we managed to steer clear of causing too much concern. Without extra tutoring or intense studying, we effortlessly landed in the top ranks of our class. Maybe we just knew how to navigate the system. Lucy and Steve were excelling in school. I'm eager to see what they achieve in the future. Maybe they'll take care of me someday. Being good at studying doesn't guarantee a successful future. I'll be the most successful one among our classmates. Just wait and see. Usually those who say that are the first to settle down. My money's on Steve. Even if I do succeed, I won't be taking care of you. These debates were a regular part of our conversations. John, though laid back, had a kind heart and a solid foundation. Steve approached everything with caution and responsibility. And then there was me, forging ahead without dwelling too much on the future. Together, we formed an unbeatable trio. John started at a public high school but dropped out after 6 months, drifting through life ever since. He never held a steady job, occasionally pitching in at a friend's auto shop or local bars, simply going with the flow. Seeing my brother in this state only strengthened my determination to succeed, especially since I felt responsible for John ending up in evening school. It all started the day I was involved in a serious traffic accident, leaving me with severe injuries. John, deeply concerned for me, rushed me to the hospital. His worry and care for my well-being led him to quit high school. I've carried a sense of guilt about that ever since. If I can achieve success, I believe I can help John find his way again. During that period, my mind was consumed with thoughts of the future and the paths to success, searching for ways to involve John. It had to be something he could easily connect with. As I entered high school, I took on a part-time job to save money. I believed money was crucial no matter the endeavor, and I worked diligently to accumulate as much as possible. Steve, have you seen John lately? He hasn't been around much. Just as I suspected. That guy. I wonder what he's gotten himself into. I hope he's not causing trouble. Surely, with a family waiting for him, he'd hesitate before getting involved in anything risky. Months passed without John returning home. To alleviate our concerns, Steve and I exchanged rumors about John's whereabouts. Then, one day, John returned home as if nothing had happened. "Where have you been? You could have at least let us know. We were all so worried." "I apologize. I've been caught up with my part-time job. If that's the reason, just tell us." Lucy and Steve were worried sick too. "I'm really sorry about that." He shared that he had secured a promising job out of state, where he stayed overnight, entrusting me with almost all of his earnings for safekeeping. He urged me to combine it with my savings from the part-time job. At the time, I didn't grasp his motives, but he insisted, so I took charge of the money. However, John soon reverted to idling at home without any clear direction. While he never landed a full-time job, he occasionally took on part-time work, which seemed to satisfy our parents. After high school, I was eager to pursue a thorough study of business administration in college. Thankfully, my strong academic performance earned me a full scholarship, easing the financial burden on our parents. This achievement also filled my brother with pride. It was during this period that John began to show signs of change. "How much longer are you going to live like this? Without a full-time job, how do you expect to marry the girl you like?" "Well, there's actually a company that's been showing interest through a colleague, but I'm undecided." "You have such an opportunity. What kind of company is it?" "Construction. It's the site where I've been doing part-time work for the past few months. Not sure if I see myself doing it forever. Starts early in the morning. You should take it. If you've got the chance, give it your best shot." Encouraged by my firm push, John took on the job full-time the following week. Surprisingly, it suited him better than expected. Contrary to our family's expectations, he showed up on time and without complaints. Seeing John thrive, I decided to pursue a career in architecture. I believed establishing myself in the only field my brother, without higher education, had mastered would secure his future. During vocational school, I continued working part-time and managed to save enough to buy a relatively expensive car. Living with my parents certainly helped, but I was proud of my savings. My mother, understanding my dedication to saving, quietly supported me. She packed my lunches every day, minimizing unnecessary expenses during vocational school. Her unwavering support meant the world to me. After graduating from vocational school, I joined a well-connected company to build my network, earned numerous certifications, and diligently prepared for independence while fostering relationships. Meanwhile, John remained dedicated to his job, allowing me to focus on laying the groundwork for my own business venture. Eventually, I launched my own company, but at first, I hesitated to invite John to join. Financially, I couldn't afford both of us taking a risk simultaneously, so I opted to observe for a while. I dove headfirst into work, leveraging all my prior preparations, and my carefully assembled team performed exceptionally, following my lead. We enjoyed a strong start. During this time, John moved out of our parents' home and began living independently, which made our meetings less frequent. I, too, was consumed with work and couldn't keep in touch regularly. A year into running my business, I finally extended an official offer to him. John, my company is finally stable now. I have something else to offer you. What I want to do next is expand the business further, and I need your help. Can you assist me? I don't think there's anything I can do. I want you to become the president of the current company and take a leading role. What? That's impossible for me. You need to consider who you're asking. I'm asking you sincerely and with careful thought. Plus, the money you entrusted to me earlier, I used part of it as capital when I started the company. I convinced John to join me and paired him with the secretary who seemed to click well with him, ensuring he learned all the ropes of the company. Taking on the role of chairman, I focused on supporting John while laying the groundwork for our next venture. My childhood dream was to create charming and Instagram-worthy cafes that could rival any others. Excited to pursue this vision without compromise, I immersed myself in studying the restaurant industry. Around this time, my younger brother Steve embarked on his path to becoming an architect, a plan I had suggested. Steve would design buildings while John oversaw their construction. It was the perfect synergy. Naturally, I took responsibility for securing enough projects to sustain us, diligently preparing to turn this vision into reality in the near future. As John entered his second year as company president, he surprised us all by announcing his upcoming marriage. Who is she? John hasn't always had the best judgment. I'm concerned, I admitted. I'll introduce her to everyone soon, John reassured us. We look forward to meeting her. John's impending marriage brought mixed emotions for me. We had always been a tight-knit trio, so the thought of an outsider joining us unsettled me. Nevertheless, I knew I had to set aside my unease and celebrate my brother's happiness. At a family gathering with both sides present, I finally met John's fiancée, Bella. While I didn't outwardly oppose their union and things appeared to progress smoothly, I couldn't shake a sense of distrust from our first interaction. Bella, I'm Lucy, John's sister. Please take good care of my brother, I said, masking my reservations with a polite smile. It's wonderful to have such a caring sister. If you ever need anything, just let me know. Sure. Since I'll soon be the wife of the eldest son and the company president, you'll have to come through me from now on, all right? Bella was the same age as John and worked in an administrative role at one of our client companies. My initial impression of her was that she was determined and assertive. Our perspectives seemed somewhat different, and she wasn't quite my type, yet I thought her personality might complement John's naivety well. Steve shared my thoughts, but we both agreed to support their marriage for now. She seems a bit serious, but if John loves her, we're behind you both. Wishing you all the happiness. Thank you, Lucy. A few years ago, I couldn't have imagined marriage, let alone someone approaching me. From then on, I was constantly on the move due to the new projects we had undertaken, making my days incredibly busy. Meanwhile, John was fully occupied with wedding preparations, spurred on by Bella's desire for an early ceremony. Before we knew it, the wedding day had arrived. Since the family gathering, I hadn't seen Bella or John. John, it's been too long. I've been caught up, but today I'm here to enjoy. Good to see you. Take a moment to relax and enjoy the food and drinks. As John prepared to marry, I couldn't help but feel a pang of sadness. The three of us had always shared laughter and conversation. Before the ceremony, we managed to exchange a few laughs, and seeing John's happiness, Steve and I felt reassured. As the ceremony began, I savored a delightful meal, catching up with Steve and my parents after a long time apart. Our company's employees were seated diagonally behind our family, lively in their own conversations. It was during this chatter that the bride and groom began visiting each table in order. John, Bella, congratulations on your special day. Thank you, and thanks to everyone for being here. Thank you all for coming. From now on, my husband's team is my team. I expect your continued dedication and hard work. I couldn't believe my ears. In the midst of the wedding ceremony, what was Bella saying? Unable to hold back, I responded. Bella, the employees are strictly part of my brother's company. They aren't your employees. Oh, I'm well aware of that. My dear, opinionated sister-in-law, you're part of the family now. Her tone was mocking and it cut through the air, momentarily chilling the atmosphere. But then, unexpectedly, laughter erupted from the employees seated nearby. What? I'm going to be the wife of your CEO. Are you mocking me? Bella, please. Bella, do you know who our chairman is? Huh? Chairman? I hadn't been introduced to anyone like that. I don't know. It appeared John hadn't briefed her and she was unintentionally rude to me due to her ignorance. Those in the know couldn't help but chuckle at the situation. The reception hall, once lively, fell silent, the mood shifting dramatically. I never expected you to say something like that here. It's disappointing. Huh? I'm marrying the CEO, becoming the spouse of the most important person. Isn't that natural? The reason I stand here today is all thanks to Lucy. She founded the company and appointed me CEO. Everything is thanks to Lucy. She's our chairwoman. What? What's this? Why wasn't I informed? Realizing she was the only one unaware, Bella was furious. Despite her inner turmoil, she should have maintained a smile throughout the reception. I apologize, but given your true feelings, I've reconsidered. Let's consider this marriage null and void. John, that's extreme. I've shown poor judgment. I apologize to everyone. John bowed deeply to the guests in the hall. The wedding ceremony came to an abrupt end, and people dispersed. Later, I learned that Bella had grown up in poverty, dreaming of marrying a wealthy man for a better life. Meeting John, she seemed determined to fulfill that ideal. After the disrupted ceremony, Bella repeatedly begged John to reconsider, but he remained resolute in his decision to end things. During their relationship, Bella had always appeared respectful and reserved around John, so her confrontational behavior towards others surprised him. He confided in me that he found it difficult to trust women and intended to focus solely on his career. His dedication paid off, and he excelled at work. Meanwhile, my dream of expanding our shops became a reality, and Steve achieved his goal of joining our company after passing his exams. Despite our professional achievements, all three of us remained single, which was a source of quiet sadness. I remembered our rare gathering together. Do you have anyone in mind to marry, Lucy? I'm really into my work right now. Marriage and kids aren't on my mind yet. Same here. As long as we're happy, that's what counts. I'm not keen on marriage either. How about building a house then? John could move back and we could all live together. Steve's proposal caught me off guard amid our busy lives. Over the years, we focused on ourselves, but now the idea of following in our parents' footsteps and caring for them seemed fitting. While the company was making progress and taking shape, there was still much to do before we could call it a success. Starting with a home as a base and building our future together sounded like a solid plan. I rarely agreed with Steve's suggestion. Steve, that's brilliant. What a wonderful idea. Exactly. Steve, you handle the design. Lucy, find us the perfect plot of land, and I'll build us a spectacular house. This was the exact scenario I had always dreamed of, achieving something together with my brothers. We'd been a team since childhood, and I'd always hoped we could carry that bond into adulthood. My brothers and I, right then, I felt fearless about the future. Even if I never marry or find a partner, I have strong allies by my side. With them, I'm confident I can continue